system administrator, performance, stuff like that. And 3 years ago, we decided to create a product that is named BApps in order to assist customers to deploy infrastructure services in the cloud easier. Okay, let me review very fast what are the main characteristics that cloud is given to the customers. Okay, elasticity, automated provisioning, instant capacity, time to market. Okay, today everything has to be fast. Consolidation, for me, is one of the best things of the virtualization and cloud. I mean, it's a lot of servers in only few bare metals, and the changing demand, the flexibility to grow and to decrease depending on your needs. But what is our question here is, normally this is applied only to the business services. I mean, it's your portal, your any kind of service that you deploy on top of the cloud, but normally you are not thinking about the infrastructure services. Normally that infrastructure services are a part of the cloud. Okay, it's difficult to find that are inside the cloud. Then for me the question is, what happens with infrastructure services in the cloud? Today that we have is we have physical appliances that implements firewalling, DNS, load balance, HTTP proxy, SMTP relays, services like that that are implemented in physical appliances. Normally that physical appliances switch not very well to the cloud of flexibility, capacity on demand and things like that. Okay, that we are proposing is, okay, let's to migrate all that services, all that infrastructure services to the cloud and take the same advantages that we have in the business services. Okay, this is the idea. How we try to achieve this? Okay, that we are doing is, first of all, we deploy a VM that is a central management interface. This is the console of the product. Okay, with that console, that is a VM that you can deploy on any cloud. Okay, your virtual infrastructure. Then you can manage and you can deploy new infrastructure services. In this case, for instance, we are implementing an SMTP relay. Installed with the cloud hypervisor, cloud manager, and then we deploy a new VM that in this case is installed as SMTP relay. What else we can do? Of course, we can notify the new creation to a corporate CMDB. All our product is based on a REST API. It is easy to integrate with external services, and we can deploy, of course, for instance, DNS, DHCP, and NTP flavors, VM, load balance flavor, is this, proxies, and firewalls. Okay, and of course, not only install and deploy that infrastructure services, we can manage them. For the DNS, we can create new zones, new registries for domains, and so on. For load balance, we can create virtual IPs, real IPs, kind of balance, and so on. For firewall, we can create policies, rules, interfaces, and so on. Okay, we are providing the full life cycle for that infrastructure services. Okay, how can we believe that we can optimize the process? Okay, first of all, a tool that provides the full life cycle support. Okay, not only worried about a fast deployment, we are worried about the full life cycle of the service based on templates. Okay, if I need to deploy load balance or firewalls in my cloud infrastructure, it is very common that you can base in templates. Okay, and you can save effort. central management, of course. Powerful, what does it mean? It means that I have to do a lot of tasks. For instance, in the load balance, I need to balance layer 4 and layer 7 for the firewall. I need to support complex infrastructure and things like that. Easy to use. We have an HTTP portal to manage, and we have the REST API to integrate with other platforms, and open source. Why open source? And now we will explain a little bit deeper, because we believe that the power of open source in infrastructure services is very, very high. There are a lot of different softwares, and we can use and take advantage of that. What are the basic fundamentals or foundations that we have in the product? First of all, open source, because they are today strong software stacks for firewall, for load balance, for DNS, for HTTP proxy, for SMTP relay. In cloud environments, it's very common to be open source and to be integrated with more softwares. Powerful API, what does it mean? It means that we need to hide all the complexity to deploy open source services behind a powerful API. Okay, we are providing that API that allows to us to control every aspect of that infrastructure services. And the other important key point for us is the full life cycle support. Okay, is not only fast deployment, is everything that you need to deploy, config, update, and so on the service we are providing with the product. Okay, what are the main components that we have? We have the console, as I've told to you, but we have an API of the console, the CMI API, Central Management Interface API. All the software that we are deploying is based on CentOS as OS. Okay, it is powerful, it is open source, and we can implement on top of that a lot of different services. We are using Chef as orchestrator to install the software, to generate the receipts of the installation of the different flavors that we are supporting in infrastructure services. We have our own RPM repository of packages. I mean, is when we are installing a new service, we are not going to internet to get any package. We are providing all of them from the CMI. Okay. And what happens with the nodes? Okay, we have 5 different flavors that are supported today, that are load balance, IP load balance, supporting layer 4 and layer 7 load balance. We have a firewall, okay, firewall that is supporting complex architecture of firewall. We have DNS, DHCP, and NTP server. We can implement primary DNS, secondary forwarders. Any kind of complex DNS architecture can be implemented with our DNS flavor. We have HTTP proxy that is based on Squid, and we have a lot of add-ons added in order to be very powerful and easy to manage. And we have an SMTP relays flavor that allows to send and receive SMTP. We are supporting TLS, for instance, and stuff like that. The fact that we are using a central management interface is not only to allow fast deployment and management. We are sharing with that CMI, we have a CMDB inside that. And for instance, all the firewalls that you are deploying using that CMI share the same CMDB database. It means that you only define your web servers. Any definition that you have in your security policy can be shared between the different nodes. It happens with firewall, it happens with load balance, for instance, and more we are sharing that information between nodes. Why? Because we want to optimize the administration of that infrastructure. Let me give you an idea of some screenshots. Okay, we have no time to do a demonstration. We are behind there if someone wants to see a live demonstration of the product. For instance, this is the main dashboard of the CMI, where we can see how many flavors we have deployed, what is the component status, how many of them are running. Here that we have is the list of appliances that we have deployed. We have action for that appliances. We can update, we can manage, we can, for instance, we are concentrating all the logs of all the service nodes, and then we can real-time search that logs in order to find any malfunction in the services. What else? If we need to create a new service, infrastructure service, we have a simple wizard with 4 steps. This is the first one, where we need to define server name, IPs that we want to set up, and so on. Then the CMI can talk with the hyperadvisor, create the service node, and start the installation of that service node. Okay. Here, for instance, we select what kind of flavor we want to set up, in this case DNS, but we have proxy, firewall, load balance, and SMTP. Once we have installed DNS, DHCP, and NTP, for instance, this is the main dashboard where we can see, okay, what is the status of the VM, how many DNS zones, how many DHCP subnets has been defined, and NTP rules, and so on. We can see here, well, the server name, IPs, version, status of the services, and so on. And let me summarize. Okay, it's one tool that provides the full lifecycle support. With the power of open source, it means that if we have functionality that we are not supporting right now, it is easy that today there is some open source software that can support that we can integrate in the platform. We can provide deployments in minutes. I mean, I can deploy the CMI in a virtual infrastructure, and in minutes we can deploy services like DNS, firewall, and so on. In fact, if you go to our website, bapps.org, you can download the software, or you can see videos showing how to do it. Okay? We are compatible with all the virtual platforms. Okay, we are deploying VMs. It means that we have no problem to deploy any virtual infrastructure. It means that ECDL fits very well for large companies with large data centers that has a lot of physical appliances and wants to improve the productivity and save some cost in terms of maintenance. Service providers, I mean, today there is a lot of service providers that are providing cloud and stuff like that. I think that is an important complement that can have, that is to add our product in the catalog of services that they can provide. And we are not a promise. I mean, we have a global bank around the world that is running up to 500 nodes today with data centers in Europe and South America, and it means that we are production ready and we can afford important projects with this technology. And okay, this is our presentation. I don't know if there is some questions about the product. Let me say that on Monday we published the first public release we published the first release in our website, bapps.org, and you can download, you can test. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions. We are looking for community developers and system administrators that wants to belong to our community of users. We are an open source project and we are open to the community feedback. We are looking for partners, okay, technological and business partners that wants to help us to distribute the product around Europe or whatever place they are. And we are looking for, of course, customers that wants to use the product. Okay? Questions? Any questions, guy? No? Okay, thank you for your time and enjoy it.